Well, I don't know what happened to my phone here. I was trying to do it horizontal, so things are a little bit upside down today. I've got like 5 minutes to do a quick news update. I just wanted to get this to you because there's so much happening right now. I'm in Denver, Colorado, about to speak I got to do a live cast actually in like 10 minutes. But I had to talk about a couple of things. First of all, the what happened with we'll start with the most recent. You're seeing the Roger Stone fallout. Now, Roger Stone, the predictable problem here, for those of you that aren't tracking this, is Roger Stone, along with Manafort, are two, along with the General Flynn. These are the three that every week they were trotting out on MSNBC and CNN. The intrigue. There's another thread in the Trump crime trail unraveling, except that all of these were crimes that had nothing to do with Donald Trump, and they weren't even crimes. In Roger Stone's case, we're still trying to figure out what he did. And apart from a tweet that celebrated WikiLeaks coming out with Democratic email lists, we found out the result of Podesta accidentally opening himself up to get hacked. But and then Roger Stone's, but he's symbolic, and so the left, anyone who worked with Trump, Manafort. What's the whole thing with Manafort? It's punish you if you help get Trump elected. That's the insidious evil of it. And the average low information American voter doesn't care. And I'm sorry to say, the average low information Christian isn't informed. They just know 85% of us that Trump's a good guy and the rest of them are bad, and we're praying he gets reelected. But it's just not good enough. It's just we have to be more responsible in terms of knowing what's going on. If you don't know how an enemy is getting into your house and breaking into your account, then you're going to get hacked again, and you're going to get broken into again. So, what I want to talk to you about is Stone's, had a sentencing where it was recommended by the prosecutors. Most people miss this. The prosecutors met with Attorney General Barr, and they said, yeah, they agree with Barr that it should be a moderately light sentence because his crimes were process crimes, not Russian interference crimes. It wasn't, I think the worst thing he did was he threatened to steal a guy's comfort dog who was, who he was having an argument with. I mean, taking the guy's comfort dog. Even the guy who he threatened said, please don't put him in jail for that. But, this is the insanity. These guys lied to Barr. They said they were going to recommend something modest and moderate, and they went in and suggested the full 9 years. 9 years. Now, to put this in perspective, what happens if you committed rape? You'd be in there for 4 or 5 years. If you did armed robbery, you'd have 3 years. If you were to beat someone up in a parking lot in order to steal their wallet, you'd have 1.5 years. Roger Stone, for annoying people, was given 9 years, suggested sentencing. Trump, of course, comes out, which is totally his right to do, and he says this is the same judge that put Paul Manafort in solitary confinement, something that even Al Capone didn't have to put up with. And so what Trump's calling out is the hypocrisy in the judge, because the judge is a leftist appointed by Obama. But Barr, as soon as he heard the sentence suggestion, he said, this isn't what the lawyers and I discussed. And immediately he came out with something different. The problem for William Barr is that he is zeroing in on a track with Durham to expose the corruption on the left. And he has to play a very smart game. He's got to be like Luke Skywalker with this thing. He's got to be able to find that one little opening and shoot through it, because of the nature of what he's doing is he's going to expose the Russian hoax. He's going to expose the FISA warrant, the fallacious and fictitious base, and he's going to go beyond that. He's going to actually trace this thing probably to John Brennan, who is right now having a lot of heat, because he's going to go to the intelligence community. Remember what Trump said? The intelligence community is what he said was what needs to be dealt with. And that's what Schumer said. Oh, don't mess with the intelligence community. Well, Trump doesn't know any better. He's a wrecking ball. Boom. So now we're going to see. And I prophesied this during the period of time of Haman's gallows 2 years ago. I said that it's all going to come back to Brennan and before the day is over. And it's so unlikely that he's going to face any consequences, because these guys are the head of the intelligence community. Clapper, Comey, Brennan, they're so insulated. However, Barr is building his step-by-step case, and this is the thing that is so powerful. that he's saying, I won't be bullied by the press. I won't be bullied by Congress, meaning Democrats. Nobody, not even the president, is going to be able to manipulate what I do as the Attorney General. And he's a great guy. He's like Scalia. I like this guy. And of course, the press takes it out of context and says that, that Barr says he doesn't want any tweets. He doesn't want any He doesn't need the extra heat on tweets from the White House on verdicts of what he's doing. He really needs the president to let him do his job, because every time the president lines up with Barr, even though it's okay for him to do it, the media it's like Pavlovian conditioning. They start going to a Tourette's syndrome over Trump getting involved with the Justice Department. Because in their perversion of justice, they think Trump is guilty of something. They don't want to see him at all having his hand in justice, in what justice does. So Barr has made no comments derogatory to the president. He's just simply saying that it's a lot easier for him to do his job if he doesn't have to also put out fires of collusion with the president. By the way, William Holder, who was Obama's attorney general, he, of course, has to make his loudmouth and always obnoxious commentary on how dangerous it is for the Attorney General to be working with the president, which is such a barefaced, hypocritical lie, because him and Obama golfed and pretty much set everything up that Holder did, away from, monitoring devices on a golf course. And those two guys set everything up, and then they broke the huddle and acted like they were acting independent later. So, Trump lamented he didn't have an Eric Holder in when he had Sessions. Because Sessions, they remember, just stepped aside like a guy who's supposed to protect the quarterback and say, well, I guess I'll recuse myself. And then they went in and sacked the president. So it's kind of fascinating. But what I want to talk about is Iowa. Iowa definitely was monkey business. And what's happened is, it's so crazy, is while the left with Schiff and Pelosi and Schumer and the media is so conditioned, like I said, Pavlovian, to go nuts on Trump. They're after Trump, after Trump. They completely ignore the whole time that Bernie Sanders, and then they turn around like, wah, because Bernie Sanders in Iowa is winning in the polls. They never expected that. The last thing they expected was with five. People who had leftist positions like Elizabeth Warren is wackier than Bernie in some stuff. But Bernie has a populist group behind him. So now they've got a problem. They literally did not let the polling come out. They suppressed the polling data when Sanders was up 4 points, and they refused to even give the information. To this day, we don't know what happened in Iowa. It's pure confusion, which is the Hebrew word for the perverse. And confusion and perversion kind of go together. And what you're looking at is perversion in a lot of ways, getting involved with the politics of America. But we'll just leave that as an aside for the moment. Remember, Bernie is 78 years old. There's a lot of people that say, even though he dominated New Hampshire and he comes out with Iowa and it's probably going to have Nevada, the question, of course, is Biden's not going to make it. We know that. But the question, of course, is that no one's asking is, how could Bernie possibly make it? He had a heart attack 6 months ago. It's amazing how nobody talks about the obvious. A 78-year-old guy, this old guy had a heart attack. I was with Bernie on a plane last year. We were both in business class together, and he was out immediately and just unconscious. And of course, anyone could be exhausted at 4 p.m. or something. But I'm telling you, this is like not the stat. This isn't a marathon runner. And so the thing you want to watch for is, are they going to let Bernie actually get the Democrats are afraid that if Bernie actually gets elected, or that he's at the top of the ticket, that it's going to kill the Senate for them. And if it kills the Senate, then all the judiciary continues with Trump, and so judges get appointed. And so there's a lot of built-in resistance. And so what they've done is they got Mike Bloomberg bringing in his thermonuclear money bomb with $1 billion or $2 billion. Now think about that. Think about how crazy that is. Because money does influence votes, because it's all about messaging. It's all about reaching the low information person and putting the information you want in front of them night and day and night. I've got friends of mine who have kids that are 11 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old on TikTok and on these other apps, and they're getting Bernie Sanders. They're getting Michael Bloomberg advertising. So $2 billion is going to go against Trump, whether Bloomberg makes it or not. He wants to take over the Democratic Party. And so you got this, it's wild what's happening. So Bloomberg is in there with his money. I'm going to have to go do my broadcast now downstairs. But I have the greatest Trump cards, and you guys all did your Valentine's Day cards, right? But I've got some I discovered here, which I put the address there for you. Trump V Day. You want to send this to anonymously, if necessary, to some of your coworkers and family members who you know really love Donald Trump much less than you. And so this one is, you put the peach in impeachment. I mean, it's not it's silly, but I love these. We got you put the peach in impeachment, and then Trump makes making Valentine's Day great again, 2020, and this one is one of my favorites, which is Adam Schiff, who looks a lot like Barney Fife, and it's Trump for President 2020. My feelings will never shift for you, and you can get all these for free. They're like real gag gift. You can just download them and then anonymously put them on the desk of or mail them to someone who really bothers you, and just let them know you're just kidding, yuck, 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 and it's just a joke. It's funny because we got Valentine's Day, and I'm with Annabelle out here in Denver, and it's the only reason I took this event was because it's with friends of ours, and she wanted to go. But therefore, I feel like I could go on Valentine's Day and go speak at a conference. But I was looking, we have a 40% off sale going on for Valentine's Day. I've got great relationship stuff. I'm going to put it out like within the next couple of months. I mean, powerful. Have you ever seen programs where we process husbands and wives? I just did it in San Diego. A husband and a wife, then we kind of process them together. But it's just so hilarious because I have, I don't know what this says, but I've got a lot of women on my staff, and they chose the products, and we're going to put the relationship stuff out, but they said perfect for Valentine's Day, 40% off, and for your relationship, they say you want to get breaking controlling spirits. I'll tell you something, if in your romantic life you've got to get breaking controlling spirits, then you need to get this product if that's what's happening. Break those controlling spirits. The other one is favor, which is a powerful one because I've seen people that have just an anointing of favor hit their life in a certain period of time, and we've seen people get married in our programs just because you got to be in proximity to the right people, and they meet the right people in the programs. But then there's a favor that comes on people that suddenly where they were overlooked for a whole lifetime, within 1 year they're trying to make decisions on which relationship are they supposed to be in. Favor, there's something about this favor thing. But I want you to get the breaking controlling spirits for Valentine's Day. 40% off. 40% off everything. Everything must go. But it's like and Leviathan, of course, if you're having arguments with your spouse. This is for real. I'm telling you, this happens all the time. If you're having arguments with your spouse and everything you say gets twisted, you need Breaking Controlling Spirits and Leviathan. Need those two series so you could deal with that spirit that is twisting communication. And I meant to mention about the China coronavirus. I can't, except to say that the president has offered 3 times for the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control, to come in and discuss this with him, because I believe China is it's a kind of a sovereign way in a sense. I think it's a judgment on something, because they've suppressed the information. The city that this virus is they shut down a city the size of New York. I mean, I don't think we get the size of New York. They shut the city down, and they're going door to door. And so this is like the Chernobyl of China right now. If you ever seen the series on Netflix with Chernobyl, this is kind of like their biological Chernobyl. And the president's offered 3 times to send experts over, and China's very proud. They don't want to they want to act like they need help, but we're going to pray for them, because we got people, we got good people, we got churches in there, Christian churches in there. Imagine what pastors are going through there in that city. So we're asking the Lord to lift up a standard, and we just need the supernatural more than ever before, don't we? We need that Psalm 91 protection, because I think plagues are part of what's coming out. And I'm not going to go speculate on whether this came from their biochemical labs, but there is a theory that there's biochemical labs involved in that city, and that maybe this is something that got out of the lab. But we don't know, and so let's not speculate, except to say it wouldn't surprise me given current events. But I'm going to go now and do my broadcast, and I look forward to catching up with you guys later. As far as McCabe is concerned, just leaping around like an ADD broadcaster, McCabe was let off the hook today by Barr. Don't worry about it. That just means that Barr's setting his sights on Comey, So he's not going to take everyone down. The president's upset, of course. He wants to see justice done on everybody. But Barr is doing the right thing. He's going to aim his sights on what he can accomplish. And I expect that Brennan's going to be answering for his role, and Comey is going to be in a very awkward position. I think that they're going to go for what they can prove and where they can deliver justice. And they're going to get one of these fish. Because after what they've done to Flynn and Manafort and Stone, I think someone has to pay the price for the deception of what they put on America. And couldn't happen sooner. So we'll be talking to you very soon. And the big question is going to be what's going to happen in Carolina. And I think that Bernie's got the top of the ticket, and they're going to try to keep him from getting it. And you're going to see a real meltdown in the party. And if he does take that top of the ticket, if he gets a nomination, keep an eye on who he puts in as VP, because the VP is going to end up probably taking the baton from him and finishing his campaign and maybe even doing his inauguration. Sounds like a crazy statement. Not so crazy when you think about it. And I'll tell you what I think is going to happen there. Talk to you soon.
Hey, you know what? I'm Lance Wallnow, and I want to tell you something. I think that occasionally thumbs up and thumbs down really means something. I wasn't aware that there's a thumbs down option. I thought that was like diminishing to self-esteem on Facebook. But evidently, YouTube is being bold. So you can like me or not like me. But I'd prefer that you liked me and subscribed. So why don't you do that now, and we'll talk some more in the future.